Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
There's nothing more important than what I want to get to here, and that is our good friend Derek Duke Myers passed away on Tuesday from cancer at the age of 45. It's been a very tough time for his friends and family. There's a good shot of him. Broadcaster, a global television alum, a man from the oil industry. There's some various shots of him on the program. It's not good, and I'm going to try to get through this as good as I can because it's been a tough few days. Who was that? Poley with him there on the set of the RP show. You got into politics and was the MLA for Walsh Acres. There is him participating in our alumni and media charity football game. He was always there for everybody. Great community guy. Tim Horton Smile Day there. That's in the bunker. Producer Clark. Todd, one of our former staff guys, always smiling, always positive. And if you really want to know my thoughts on the Duke, you can go to rodpedersen.com right now or listen to the commentary on Sask Radio because I laid it all out there. We became very close, very fast when we met in 2008. And there you go. Derek Duke Myers passing away at the age of 45. He leaves behind a very young family. And it's about as tough as it can get. But they're a strong family unit, and they will get through this, but right now these are some very tough times.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Your top five in this next to last week of the regular season. The #1 team remains the Boston Bruins. The only question now is, will they win the Stanley Cup? #2, the Carolina Hurricanes. #3, it's the New York Rangers. They've shot right up there. #4, the Vegas Golden Knights. And #5 is the Edmonton Oilers. They are peaking at the right time.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, Canada and Canadian sports fans in the United States of America. Welcome to the RP Show. Coming in hot on a Thursday. It is episode number 970 of your favorite daytime sports talk show on the Game Plus television network, WQEE Radio. We're before a live studio audience here at the Stage Bar. And before we go any further, please welcome in the co-host. He joins us virtually from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle, Darren Moose DuPont, and we've got a lot to get to today. Moose, your hockey team got a thumping from mine last night, so I'm wondering if you're smarting today over that. I feel like we're calling it even. I feel like we're calling this bet even, and neither one of us is going to have to streak down 16th Avenue during the Calgary Stampede.
Well, thank goodness for that. I don't know about a thumping, but it was fun last night. I enjoyed that game a lot, and yeah, Panthers. What do you say? They pulled the weenie out of the campfire, right? So all is good this morning for sure on the South Florida.
Yeah, well, that's the fun part of what we're going to get into today. We'll tell you the general manager of the Prince Albert Raiders is going to be with us, the great Curtis Hunt. He will be with us later on in hour one. The Prince Albert Raiders won the draft lottery. The ball was pulled yesterday, and the Prince Albert Raiders will be drafting first overall this spring. And in hour two, Mike Snee, the executive director from College Hockey Inc., is going to be joining us from the Eastern Seaboard, the American Northeast, to talk about NCAA hockey in the Frozen Four, which is getting underway. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan, and we'll go from there?
Hell yes.
Yeah, well, listen, we're going to start with baseball because it is opening day, but a couple things have been going on. #1, I tripped the alarm today. Thank you, Rod, for being so nice about it here, security. I'm about as popular as a pimp at a picnic here. The door didn't say alarm will sound, Moose, when I laid my hands on it. It said emergency exit only, but I put my hand on. I was on the phone with somebody, and all of a sudden, 24 weeks here, and I finally managed to do that. Apologies. #2, I did go watch this. Yeah,
if
what?
I can.
What?
We all have that feeling, right? You know, you go to an arena or somewhere that says alarm will sound. You're like, yeah, just a joke, right? And you hit the door, nothing happens. You don't actually think the alarm's going to go.
Breaking news at the Grey Eagle, the alarm goes. So it could be worse.
How about
Crisis
that?
averted. And right. And then the other thing, I'll get into this more with the Leafs-Panthers game, but last night I went to the Canadian Brew House to watch the game with a hockey friend of mine, the Panthers-Leafs game, and then we went to his house after to watch the end of it. And I got up to leave when it was at the end of regulation, and he's like, well, you can't leave going into overtime. I said, well, no, I just don't want to overstay my welcome. So I stayed. We watched the triumphant end for the Florida Panthers, and as I was driving back to the Grey Eagle, I thought, I just feel so good. He's a good guy. I felt good, and I wasn't just saying it, Darren. And I told him that. I told his wife that. And I just would say, hang out with people that are good for your mental health. It actually makes you feel good. And don't hang out with people, if you can, that aren't good for your mental health. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Can you hit the quick 6 horn again, please? We'll get down to business. Okay.
Hoorah!
Speaking of all that, it's opening day in Major League Baseball with all 30 clubs playing their first game. The Toronto Blue Jays will start on the road this afternoon at St. Louis. Games will look a little different this season with the introduction of new rules. There will be clocks at stadiums to hurry up pitchers and hitters, and there are restrictions on defensive shifts for fielders. Now, we've been watching the spring training, so we're kind of familiar with the rules as they relate to watching the games on TV. But if you're going to a major league ballpark, you're going to see something. You're going to see the bigger bases. You're going to see the clocks for the pitchers. So that's kind of exciting. And to be honest with you, it's this time in society that we're in, Moose. I was sitting there going, opening day. I watched SportsCenter 3 times today. I need to know everything. I need to know about the Blue Jays and the Cardinals. And I'm like, woosah. Just enjoy the game. 4:10 Eastern. First pitch, 2:10 Mountain, where we reside out here. And I did see some pundits are picking up Blue Jays, Braves, World Series. Wouldn't that be fun with our Atlanta radio listeners on WQEE? So I'll just say this. What are your plans? I'm assuming you're going to watch the Blue Jays' first game of the year today. And what's your excitement level?
Well, my excitement level is pretty high now. I was watching SportsCenter just like you, and they're talking about opening day.
Yeah.
And then I went over to the Score app, and I checked the schedule. I'm like, okay, what time are they playing? And then I remembered they're playing in St. Louis, and I'm like, scrolling. I'm like, it's not coming up. I'm like, don't tell me it's a night game, because opening day is supposed to be a day game, right? That's the vibe.
Right.
And sure enough, yep, there it is, 2 o'clock right in the middle of the pack. So I'm excited. I'm going to hold off on lunch. I might go find me a hot dog somewhere or make one at home and get all my work done early so I can sit up and watch the game at 2.
Street meat. That's a great idea. I'll try and find. Could we get some hot dogs on the buffet? It's a little too late. Yeah. Well, remember last year, Moose, weren't you there at the Grey Eagle buffet when I said, hey, would you mind putting a little pizza on the buffet? You remember the initial reaction was, we'll do the cooking, you do the eating. And then like a week later, they put pizza on the buffet, and I felt guilty that I was a spoiled brat child, that I got what I whined for. That's not supposed to work that way. But
they gave you the business.
Nice they are here.
They gave you the business, but then when they went back into the kitchen, like, it's actually a good idea. Just don't tell them we said that.
And then they did. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's very good pizza. So, yeah, baseball, and for the Atlanta listeners on WQEE, where we are, Atlanta's NHL show, the Braves are playing a day game. As a matter of fact, 11:10 Mountain, 1:10 Eastern. They are at Washington. So, anyways, moving on to point 2. To hockey, because, again, we are Atlanta's NHL show. Brandon Montour struck in overtime for the Florida Panthers in a 3-2 win over the host Toronto Maple Leafs Wednesday. The Panthers stay in the hunt for a wild card playoff berth in the East. The Islanders went the distance to beat the Washington Capitals 2-1 in a shootout, and the Minnesota Wild doubled your Colorado Avalanche, Rod, 4-2. Thank you. In a 3-game night in the NHL. The biggest Avalanche fan that I know in the city of Calgary. Before we get to the nuances of the game, because gosh knows everybody's dying to hear that. This is what I really want to talk about. Keith Tkachuk goes on TSN Radio Toronto. His kid Matthew's playing for the Panthers, and he says the Panthers are soft. They're a soft team, and they're getting everything they deserve right now. Number one, I'm a Panthers fan, so I was slightly offended. Number two, I'm like, your kid plays on the team, and he's the leading scorer of the Panthers, so I'm pretty sure you're not talking about your kid, so you're talking about all of Matthew's teammates. How's that going to go over in the locker room? How's that going to go over with the head coach, Paul Maurice? So you got the player's dad calling him soft. Your team's soft. That should be an insult to Pomo. But then they go out and win. So maybe they needed the kick in the butt from Keith Tkachuk. But my little mini rant on this is this. Hockey parents should not be interviewed. And a number of years ago, when I was the voice of a team, the general manager of our team said, I got a great idea. You should interview the players' parents and then air it on the broadcast. And I said, howbeit you do your job, which you're not very good at anyways, and I'll do my job, and I'm not going to interview the parents.
How about
not
that?
interested, not happening. But Keith Tkachuk, I understand, isn't your average hockey parent. But how do you feel about him calling the Panthers soft? And then they respond, so maybe I'm completely out to lunch.
Well, he would know. He's played, and I don't think Keith Tkachuk was ever labeled as soft in his playing days.
No.
But you know what? Like, I watched the game last night, and they kind of are a little soft. They're playing around the perimeter. They're controlling the puck, but they're not going to the dirty areas. They're not going to the net. They're not trying to do what it takes to get shots and to get scoring chances. Lots of skill, no doubt. But you saw Pomo blow up on the bench at the guys. But in that final minute,
that's a coach's job, not a dad's job.
For sure. But then they responded to Pomo at least, because in the final couple minutes, what did they do? Went hard to the net, almost had the tying goal. Giordano takes the penalty. They score in the power play. And then what happens? 2-on-1 in overtime, go into the net, go into the hard areas. They score the OT goal. So if they played like that for 60 minutes, they maybe would be a President's Trophy winning team again.
Yeah, maybe I am probably just a little too triggered on this whole thing. But again, I just think, and don't be offended, hockey parents, it's not a personal thing. I don't think the owners should be interviewed either. And I don't really think the president should be interviewed unless things are going terribly wrong for the franchise. I don't. You need to stay in the background, and I only want to hear from the coaches, the players, and the general managers, and I damn sure don't want to hear from the parents. Walter Gretzky, yes. Louis Sutter, yes. Keith Tkachuk, not really. And Johnny Gaudreau's dad was a mini-god around here in the Stanley Cup playoffs last year. And where did that get everybody? I didn't care that you're drinking beer in downtown Calgary in the day. I don't care. That's just me, and I'm starting to realize maybe I was just too triggered by the whole thing and my past with our general manager saying, you should interview the players. You know what you should do? Get out of my face.
How about that?
John in Winnipeg. John Ohm. He says, just another reason I don't care for Keith Tkachuk. Get a hobby, Keith. Well, hey, he wants to follow his kids around. I've been around Keith Tkachuk in Florida this winter and in Winnipeg when he played. I don't think he's a bad guy at all. As a matter of fact, they talk about how cheap Matthew is, like in the hockey world. And a lot of guys can't remember, that aren't old enough to remember how Keith Tkachuk played. He was hard-nosed. He wasn't dirty. He was everything you want. Great. I still don't want you analyzing your kid's team. Can you imagine not Louis Sutter. Can you imagine Walter Gretzky being interviewed in the 80s? Yeah, my kid's the only guy pulling the whole wagon up there in Edmonton. You guys want to do something? Kind of like, well, that's what I read. Because he wasn't talking, because Matthew Tkachuk's not soft. I don't think he was talking about his own kid. He was talking about everybody else. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you imagine Wayne or Matthew in the dressing room just like, guys, I'm sorry. I can't control what my dad says. And they're all just like, your dad is...
That's exactly my read. Exactly my read on it. Oh, guys, don't listen. It's just my dad. You ignore my dad.
Yeah.
I would have been a great poll question today. Should hockey parents be interviewed? It's a hard no.
Yeah.
The poll question today is for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. Let's throw that out right now. What did I say? Will you attend a major junior hockey playoff game this spring? The last I looked on Twitter, the majority were saying yes, and it stayed that way. 62% of you on Twitter saying yes, you'll attend a major junior hockey playoff game this spring. They don't get going until tomorrow night, and later on in this show, we will talk about the playoff matchups all across the dub. But the reason I said major junior, this is to not neglect any of our Eastern Canadian viewers and listeners or American viewers and listeners, QO, for those that don't know, Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, Ontario Hockey League, and, of course, the WHL out here in the Western Hockey League. Will you be going to a game? The majority of people saying yes, and I just think that's fantastic. We'll get into more of that in a moment. One more note on point two. The Vancouver Canucks will wear Pride-themed jerseys in their warm-up Friday night when they host the Calgary Flames. Some NHL players have refused to wear Pride jerseys. You hear people booing from the crowd. Who are you booing? He's just booing the Flames, not the Pride jerseys. Vancouver's assistant captain Quinn Hughes says there wasn't any debate about in the locker room and that the players are looking forward to it. So that's interesting. We're a coffee show, we're a morning coffee show, or out in the Eastern time zone, we're an afternoon show. My thoughts were given the other day on this inclusion thing. I get the people that say, I have no problem with gay people, but why do you keep pushing it on us? Why is it a campaign? And I understand that, too. They're not being jerks. They're not. But I will say this. I'm a minority in terms of the people that are in addiction recovery. So I know what it's like to be in a minority. As a 50-year-old white man, no, I think we're the majority of us, right? There's more of us than anything else walking around. But I'm a minority in the recovery thing, and it feels sucky to get excluded. So for those that are in minorities, I kind of get why they want to wave the flag, because they're trying to put I would love to have a recovery night. I would love it. Let's celebrate recovery from addiction and mental health issues. That would be awesome. Has anybody thought about that? The league might actually want to get behind that. I don't know. But after centuries of being persecuted, they just want to be recognized. I don't have a problem with it, but I can see why those that say, why do you got to have a parade? What do you think?
Well, we're in the early stages of it, of them, having their place in society. We are in the very early stages of it. They're just planting their flag and putting themselves on the map. The pendulum always swings, too far, and then it finds its nice place, and that's the way it has to go, right? We need to celebrate this. We need to respect the group. We need to welcome them and honor them, and until they are just another member of our society. And when they do, they will get treated just like everybody else. But you just got to remember, we're in the very early stages of this, and for us, there'll be Pride Nights and Pride Parades 2 generations from now, or a generation from now. They might not need to have that because they will be a normal member of society. That's how I look at it.
Well, despite the fights and the arguments that are going on with it, and the hatred in a lot of ways, it's actually good that we're talking about it, because not talking about these things doesn't get us anywhere at all. When we come back, we'll delve a little bit into the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, please give us a like. Be sure to subscribe and tell all your friends. If you're watching on Game Plus Television or listening on WQEE, please don't touch that dial. We'll be right back live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino on Game Plus and 99.1 FM, The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
it's madness. Capital GMC Buick Cadillac has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Capital has Sierra 1500s with rates starting as low as 1.49%. Over 400 new vehicles in stock, or drive away in a GM certified pre-owned vehicle. They all come with a 150 plus point inspection and a 3-month warranty. It's March, it's madness. On now at Capital GMC Buick Cadillac, Saskatchewan's #1 GM retailer, capitalgmc.ca. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It's your favorite daytime sports talk show, and aerial coverage on the RP show is brought to you by what, Moose? What's it brought to you by? Nabob Coffee. And don't forget, don't miss comedian, actress, podcaster, and producer Whitney Cummins live here at the Grey Eagle Event Center Tuesday, April 25th. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.ca. We are coming at you live on the Game Plus television network across all 10 provinces and 31 states, and on the radio WQEE in Atlanta, which reminds me, Moose, before I should stop, it is opening day in Major League Baseball. I'm assuming that you're a Blue Jays supporter like me. You're an athletic supporter. Yeah. We cheer for the same team. I went betregal.net. It just reminds me, for some reason, the Flintstones episode just popped into my head. Bet. They have, here's the thing about Bet Regal. Their odds makers are in Costa Rica. And hang on, Mike, the CEO of Bet Regal, told us, did he not say he was going to take us there for a tour? He said that at the Grey Cup. Did he think we forgot? Now we got to wait till next winter to do that. But I said to him, how come your odds are different than every one of these other betting companies and betting sites? And he said, because we have our own odds makers. They're in Costa Rica. He kind of got into it. So Houston Astros are the odds-on favorite, minus 530 to win the World Series, according to, are they minus or plus? Yeah, plus 530 to win the World Series. Atlanta Braves next at plus 685. New York Yankees plus 715. Dodgers plus 755. Then he goes Mets, Padres, Jays. And so Astros, Braves, Yankees, Dodgers, Mets, Padres, Blue Jays are 7th ranked. That ain't bad out of 30 teams. That ain't bad. So I'm just encouraging people. I'm encouraging people, if gambling is not an issue for you, to go and throw a couple bucks on that. It's under futures at betregal.net. But it is exciting. Don't you think? Are you excited for opening day?
It's incredibly exciting. And you think about that. that kind of gives you an idea of what the expectations are right now around this team. And yeah, the Yankees are favored to be, ahead of them a little bit, but the Jays should compete right then and there. They're expected to be a playoff team again, which always gives you a shot at a World Series. And, you kind of forget, a little bit that the way the season ended for the Jays at the hands of Seattle and how bad and heartbreaking that was. So here's a chance to start fresh, and I'm liking what this outlook is for the Jays this year.
I'll tell you what, I don't know what it is. In a way, I'd like to go back to being in that bubble of having my head up my ass, because life was a lot easier then. Now I pay attention to everything. I catch everything. You know what I mean? And it's draining and it's exhausting. And the point being, I was reading quotes from manager John Schneider and Vladdy and, the Blue Jays stars and their big names, and seeing the coverage. TSN Scott Mitchell was down there, and they're saying, the Blue Jays are more business-like than they've ever been before. Vladdy said, I hope we've learned from our mistakes before. And the thing is, listen, we're not a baseball show, but that doesn't mean we don't watch it. And seeing the guys dancing in the dugout and spreading around the home run jacket, it's fun, but that ain't business-like. The teams that are winning aren't jumping around like a high school house party. They're there, it's all business, and I'm getting that sense that it's finally there. It's been fun watching these guys grow up, and we've gone through the growing pains with them, haven't we? But it's time.
We really have.
And I'm glad that they at least are acknowledging that we've grown up, because we've seen it. We've seen it. Training wheels are off, and they're out. They're men now. So that's good, and I think that's why the expectations are higher. And people are into it. DG in Saskatoon writes in on the 902 text line, and we're very big in Saskatoon, Moose, as you know. Morning, guys. Happy opening day. The Atlanta Braves over the Seattle Mariners in 6 games for the World Series crown in 2023 is my prediction. I would love to hear others' predictions, says Dan in Saskatoon. Well, I'm saying if there's a baseball god, which there clearly is, we've got our television crew is in Toronto and our radio crew is in Atlanta. There'll be blood in the streets if it's another Toronto-Atlanta World Series for the first time in 30 years. So I'm going to say Blue Jays Atlanta because I want to see it. You? What do you think?
Oh, man. My American League, or my National League team is the Dodgers. So I'll go Jays over Dodgers in the World Series. That'll be my pick.
That's pretty exciting. Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, one of my best friends is a Braves fan, so I wouldn't hate to see that either, and it would be fun potentially to make a road trip to a Braves-Jays World Series game.
2 words, Sid Bream. Ryan McCarthy's watching in Saratoga, New York. He says, I expect nothing less than a World Series title from the Yankees this year, but I fear they're only built just to get by the Astros and lose to an NL team. Well, here's the one thing. Remember it today. We're all tied for first. Because after today, that ain't the case. Landry writes in and says, the Rockies are expected to reach the 100 mark in the win-loss record. It's just not on the right side. They're supposed to suck, huh? How about that? Okay. Back on track, if there ever was a track. Point 3, we got a little CFL news for you. The Edmonton Elks released veteran American running back James Wilder Jr. on Wednesday. I don't say this facetiously other than I thought they did that a couple of months ago. I think he announced it himself. That's what it was on his social media. I love James Wilder, man. I don't know if this is the end of the road for him or not. His dad, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers all-time leading rusher, I believe. Hashtag Let's Get Wilder. The 6'3", 232-pound Wilder appeared in 15 games over 2 seasons with Edmonton, but he was in only 3 games last year before suffering a spine injury. The 30-year-old began his CFL career with the Argonauts in 2017, earning CFL top rookie honors while helping his club win a Grey Cup title. Edmonton also on Wednesday released quarterback Vinny Testaverde Jr. Actually, his name's Vincent Testaverde Jr., who signed with the CFL club in February. I love that they added this to the Wire copy story. Testaverde is the son of former NFL star quarterback Vinny Testaverde, who played 21 pro seasons. Thank you, because I couldn't figure that out because the kid was named Junior. So I'm sorry to be that guy. There's just some CFL news for you. I'm going to keep moving, Moose, to point 4. The Toronto Raptors embark on a 5-game road trip, starting with Friday's clash against the Philadelphia 76ers. The Raptors are trying to stay in contention for the postseason's play-in round, in which teams seeded 7th through 10th battle for the final 2 playoff spots in each conference. To the NFL meetings in Phoenix. Embattled Washington Commanders owner Dan Snyder could very well sell the franchise before an investigation into his organization's conduct can be completed. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said even if that's the case, any report will be made public. Here are some of the other notes coming out of the NFL meetings in Phoenix. There will be no assist from the replay booth when it comes to the NFL's roughing the passer rule. The league's 32 teams voted down a proposal from the LA Rams that would have allowed coaches to ask for a replay booth review of roughing the passer. The NFL said it will not move to a flex schedule for Thursday night games, at least for now. The league has explored a method to adjust its Thursday schedule as the season progressed, giving teams a 15-day notice that their upcoming game would be moved from the weekend to Thursday. They're not going to do flex on Thursday. I wish they would, because the Thursday games are largely junk, as you know, Darren. The use of the Guardian cap, that's the one with the pillows on it. Remember we saw that in training camp last year? Yeah. Will be expanded during the preseason to include running backs and fullbacks. Last season, O and D linemen, linebackers, and tight ends wore that goofy-looking thing that made them look like the Great Gazoo. So those are some of the notes. And I'm going to try and slip this in here. This is a story that we were kind of sitting on. You saw that Tom Brady bought into the Las Vegas, is it the Aces? Female WNBA basketball team. Tom Brady bought into the ownership group of that. I'm going to drop this news now because I've been sitting on it for quite some time. He was kicking tires on the Montreal Alouettes. I guess now because the Als have been sold to Quebecor and Monsieur Pelladeau, we can say that Tom Brady was part of an ownership group that was looking into buying the Montreal Alouettes.
How about that?
And I don't know how or why it didn't happen, other than to say the CFL was very clear that they wanted local ownership. And Tom Brady ain't local. So that's a rumor I heard. And the fact that he got in with the Las Vegas Aces kind of confirms that he wants to get into the ownership side. We've heard that for a while, and he now is. How do you feel about that scoopage?
Yeah, it's big. You know, even that he was sniffing around. Now, let's not jump on the CFL and say that they're stupid for not going into business with it.
Who is?
No. I'm hypothetically, people who are listening, people who are watching, who want to write in and say, how could the CFL not partner with Tom Brady? They're dumb. It doesn't mean he put a bid in, right? But even just the fact that he was sniffing around, even the fact that he was thinking about it or looking at it as an option, you know, is very intriguing. And it opens the doors, you know, down the road that, you know, it doesn't mean it's going to be the last time that he ever sniffs around the Canadian Football League if there's ownership opportunities available. And wouldn't that be cool for putting the league more on the map in the U.S. than it already is? But very cool.
Yeah. I firmly believe that's more than just a rumor. As a matter of fact, CFL News, are you listening? You can tweet this out. The RP show reporting that Tom Brady was part of an ownership group interested in buying the Montreal Alouettes. Because, remember when the Buccaneers played in Germany last year? What did Tom say after the game? Because he's now played in, I don't know how many countries. Is it 6 countries? And Tom was like, maybe I'll play in the CFL. So when my football guy and wealthy guy, he's from the States, I don't want to say any more than that, when he told me this about Tom Brady, I said, he told me what the scoop about the Montreal thing, and I said, is that why Tom brought up the CFL when he was at the podium in Germany? He goes, it was on his mind. The CFL was on his mind. That's a thing. I think you called it like a Freudian slip or whatever. That's right when Brady was involved in that. But now that the team's been sold and it's not a thing anymore, I think we can say it. And I was texting this guy, and you, by the way, know him. You know him. I was texting, can I say it? Can I say it? Can I say it? And he's like, no, because if you say it, you'll screw it all up. Okay. So then I didn't. But I'm saying it now. If it pisses people off, so be it. WHL playoffs, Moose. We're going to spend way more time on this next hour. And coming up, Hunsey's next, right? Clark, next segment? Yeah. Okay. In the Western Hockey League, I'm paying not as much attention to the Western Conference because there's enough to delve into the East, and we only have a minute here, but it's the Winnipeg Ice against the Medicine Hat Tigers, the Saskatoon Blades against God's team, the Regina Pats. They're all excited here in southern Alberta because it's Calgary against Red Deer in one series, Lethbridge Hurricanes against those pesky Warriors, right, Hunsey? In round one, and then in the West, it's Seattle at Kamloops in Vancouver, Portland and Everett, and PG at Tri-City. It's very important. We got a lot of viewers out there in Oregon and Washington State. They tell me I'm not following them that closely because I expect it's going to be Kamloops and Seattle in the final. That's the way it's supposed to go, right? Yeah. What's your prediction of Blades Pats, Darren?
I'm done pissing people off. My predictions are every series is going to overtime in Game 7. Okay? Flip a
Stop
coin.
it.
That.
No, I can't.
Bingo!
I'm joking. You know what? I like what Brendan Sawney has done in Saskatoon. I wondered how he would do as the coach. I think they've got a lot of structure in the group. Obviously, the Pats have the high-end guy and Bedard and Svozil and some guys there. But I think it's probably Blades in 6. You know, I think Bedard's going to will the Pats. He'll be able to on his own. And with the goaltending they have, get the Pats a few wins there. But I'll take the Blades in 6 in that series.
May the hockey gods strike you down. Or at the very least, have the Regina Pats win. Moose, I'll see you back here in hour 2, okay?
Say hi to Hunsey for me.
Well, you just did because he's watching right now. We'll be right back with the general manager of the Prince Albert Raiders. We're going to Little Montreal next. Here on the RP Show, we're live on Game Plus Television, YouTube, and your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE in Noonan, Georgia.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
It's March. It's madness. Capital Ford has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Save up to $7,000 on a brand new F-150. They have over 150 available right now. Or drive home in a new to you used vehicle. Plus, Capital Ford offers the highest guaranteed trade-in value, or they'll give you $500 cash. Get your hands on a new ride before they come to their senses. On now at Capital Ford. Visit CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
The SJHL raffle is underway with your chance to win a brand new Polaris side-by-side, courtesy of the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Tickets are available now until April 23rd, with the draw taking place live on SJHL Insiders April 27th. 1 for $25, 3 for $60, or 10 for $100. But there are only 5,000 tickets available. Get yours today at sjhlraffle.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Live look-in, Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, Calgary's entertainment destination. If you're booking your summer getaway out here to the foothills, book it now. GreyEagleResortandCasino.ca. Folks, the Western Hockey League announced the Prince Albert Raiders will select first and second overall in the 2023 WHL Prospects Draft. Following the lottery yesterday, the Raiders won the draft lottery, moving from fourth to second overall, and they already had the first overall selection, having acquired it in a trade with the Edmonton Oil Kings. Joining us today is our good friend, longtime friend, Curtis Hunt, the general manager of the Prince Albert Raiders. Good day, Huntsy. Good to see you. Congratulations on winning the lottery yesterday. How did it feel to see the ball come up?
It was pretty exciting day for us. We'd hoped for that scenario. Maybe the best scenario for us was 1-2, and of course, you didn't mention we have pick 7 in a deal with Seattle this year for Nolan Allen. But for the guys, there's quite a buzz. The phone was electric, and now we got to dig in. And I think that's the best part now, is listening to the guys, doing a little research, and getting out there and getting to know the kids.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, because I follow your broadcaster, the mouth of the South, Robbie Mahan, and he said that you guys had like 9 balls in the bin. It would have been very hard for you not to win the lottery, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, the Prince Albert itself in the 4 spot had 3 balls in the bin. So for us to win the lottery and move from 4 to 1 or 4 to 2, the probability of having pick 1 was, all of Edmonton's balls, all of our own balls, Brandon,
right,
and Swift Current, Vancouver. So we were in pretty good shape for number 2. Yeah.
I guess that's my point. The Raiders got a lot of balls. Is that what you're saying, Huntsy? I got it.
What's that?
And hey, you're not in the playoffs this year. That would be very weird for you. How are you dealing with that?
Well, we were the team like the pesty Raiders. We just wouldn't go away. We did make some significant moves this year. We got ourselves a little younger, a little faster, added to some depth. And I'll tell you, the kids, the job by Jeff Truitt and his staff, Ryan McDonald, Keaton Ellerby, was fantastic. And the players bought in, and as I mentioned, we wouldn't go away. So you wear 2 hats, you're disappointed. It's always my mandate to get in, because once you're in the dance, anything can happen. That being said, we bring back all but our 3 overage players next year. We've got some great young players that are prepared to come and compete for new jobs, and of course the draft. So the future looks really bright for the Prince Albert Raiders, not just beyond when these 3 picks come to fruition, but certainly in the short years to come, starting in 23-24.
Well, it's not lost on me that, and maybe you could explain to all of our viewers across Canada and the States too, about junior hockey. The teams you mentioned that are missing the playoffs this year are all league champions from the past or have been in the league final in the last 3, 4, 5 years. Yourselves, Edmonton, Swift Current, Brandon, a perennial contender, but not this year. That's just the way it goes. You must have seen this coming.
Yeah, we had an idea, and when we started the season, we had a high-end player like Nolan Allen. Fans who watch the World Juniors familiar with his play. When we moved Nolan out, uh, it was one of those things where we thought, let's just get some depth. But junior hockey is cyclical. When you look at the top teams in our league, they're laden with 19, 20-year-olds. Teams do give away younger prospects and/or draft picks for that opportunity to drink from the cup. And as you mentioned, the teams in the mix had been 2 championship series or have won Western League crowns, and we were one of those teams in 2019, and certainly it's our mandate as we look at the group to try to get back there for our fans. I think the funny thing about our...
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that the thing about Prince Albert, and I don't know if you were referring to us as Little Montreal before or not, but our fans are knowledgeable. And in our last 2 games, one of which was a Tuesday and the other one which was a Saturday, we were over capacity in terms of seats, and in terms of max capacity, probably about 96%. So fans understand, they know, they were exciting. We play an exciting brand, and it was, I'm pretty appreciative for that, for the people and the fans that we have in our hometown.
Of course I was referring to PA as Little Montreal. I lived there, you know that, and I guess it's good and bad. You can't slip one by them. You can't. But it's good, though, in this regard, that they know and can see what you're doing with your franchise. That's a good thing.
Well, I try to be transparent as I can. Obviously, we don't talk about players to fans, but we certainly talk about bigger picture items, where we are, where the club is, the expectations we have on ourselves, on our business, on our game and our game promotion, and of course our coaches and players. And the biggest thing we try to do is get our kids into the community as much as possible, and the community has a ton of pride. Now, I got to jump on that Little Montreal. The funny thing is, the last 2 times we had #1 picks overall was Kyle Chipchura and Caden Gooley, both of which went to Big Montreal as first-round picks to the NHL draft. So whoever this young man is, come May, hopefully he's a Montreal fan. That's kind of a neat coincidence.
Two great Edmonton area boys there, I might add, Chipchura and Gooley. And listen, I ran into your scout, Johnny Kalanic, here the other night at the Flames game. I said, Johnny, what's the score? It's an inside joke between the two of us, but he says you got things on the right track, Huntsy. And listen, what's new for you since we talked is we're on the radio in Atlanta. You being an old school hockey guy, you played in every single league. Do you have an Atlanta story? Did you ever play in Atlanta in the minors?
I might be able to tie in Lethbridge and maybe Regina. So there was a young player named Brant Meyer. Played in the Western Hockey League, ended up in Atlanta. I was playing in Houston. This isn't a flattering story for me. I'll start there, but
not many are. Yeah.
No. So anyways, we had a little bit of a mix-up. It was a little bit of old school hockey, I guess, back in the 90s. And somehow I ended up on the ice, and then Big Brant Meyer had it in for me. So I cast on both my thumbs at the time. Couldn't get my gloves off. That's my defense. But I got into the penalty box, and I could see the lights move as I'd move my eyes. So you talk about the respect players have for players. I got back on the ice, and Jason Ruff, another Lethbridge kid, played in the Western Hockey League. He lined up beside me, and he just said, "Hey, Huntsy, get off the ice." And a little bit like Slapshot, but that's kind of my funny story. As I mentioned, it's not very flattering, but I took a pretty good beating there by an old Western Hockey League tough guy.
I loved it. I'm glad I asked. Huntsy, you're the best. I appreciate it. Enjoy the summer, and I will be seeing you somewhere in our travels for sure.
Thanks, Roddy. All the best to you and your fans.
All right. Same to you. Leafs and Canucks prospect from days gone by. Fighter as well, Curtis Hunt. Gotta love those Atlanta minor hockey, those, not minor hockey, minor pro hockey stories. Ryan O Radio? We'll be right back with a sports update audience takeover when we return. We're live on Game Plus Television, YouTube, and your Southern home of sports and talk, WQEE, The Key.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersenshop.com.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
It's March. It's madness. Capital Ford has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Save up to $7,000 on a brand new F-150. They have over 150 available right now. Or drive home in a new to you used vehicle. Plus, Capital Ford offers the highest guaranteed trade-in value, or they'll give you $500 cash. Get your hands on a new ride before they come to their senses. On now at Capital Ford. Visit CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Grey Eagle is the place to be. Get ready to sing along to all your favorite REO Speedwagon classic hits Thursday, May 4th at the Grey Eagle Event Center. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.ca. We call this audience takeover, and after this sports update, we will. I just knew Hunsey would have an Atlanta fight story or a hockey story. I didn't think it would be one that I got beat up in Atlanta. But I knew he'd have one, and he knocked it out of the park. Thank you, Curtis Hunt. As I often say, he's the older brother I didn't need because I have two. But that doesn't stop him from giving me his advice and telling me what to do. Sports update on this Thursday. There are 11 games in the National Hockey League, including the Edmonton Oilers at home to the LA Kings tonight. That would almost be worth the drive up, but not quite. The Oilers trail the Kings by 1 point in the Pacific Division and can leapfrog into second with a win. Elsewhere, the Montreal Canadiens are home to the Florida Panthers, and the Ottawa Senators entertain Philadelphia. Just 2 days after setting a world record, 16-year-old Summer McIntosh is back in the pool at the Canadian Swim Trials in Toronto. McIntosh will swim in the 200-meter individual medley today. She broke the women's 400 freestyle mark on Tuesday. The trials are going to determine Canada's team for this summer's World Championships in Japan. How about this? You guys listen up there at Game Plus Television. The latest in a series of attempts to help pickleball find a footing on television is coming this weekend when retired tennis stars Andy Roddick, John McEnroe, Andre Agassi, and Michael Chang take part in a made-for-TV exhibition in Hollywood, Florida. The Pickleball Slam will involve that quartet of International Tennis Hall of Fame playing singles and doubles against each other with a total purse of $1 million US. Frankly, now I'm interested. Remember when Tiger and Phil and Peyton and Tom played the match play game during COVID? I watched, and I'm not even a golf guy. I wonder if they'll do the same type of thing. Pickleball is where it's at. Major League Pickleball. Yeah, you shake your head now. You wait. And on Game Plus Television, we're all over it. This sports update brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. Sign up now for Landmark Extras and see what's playing at landmarkcinemas.com. In theaters now, Scream 6. Trust me, I went to it. Following the latest Ghostface killings, the 4 survivors leave Woodsboro behind and start a fresh new chapter in New York City. Courtney Cox is in this one. I'm telling you, I think it's going to be her last. So get out and watch Scream. But if you're for the faint of heart, you don't like blood, I'll tell you right now, don't go.
Oh, no.
Updating the poll. It's for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. For all you people all across Canada and the United States where they have major junior teams, will you be attending a major junior hockey playoff game this spring? What are we at, Clark? I think it was 68% on Twitter saying, yes, they will be attending a major junior playoff game this spring. What are they saying on YouTube? Are you able to look that up?
Yeah, 72% no.
Ooh.
WHL. I didn't put major junior.
Oh.
So there's a difference there probably.
Significant difference. He said WHL on YouTube. The Twitter is major junior playoff game. So I know I'll be there. Come join us. Last minute of play in hour 1. On that vein, Stephen, watching in North Dakota, writes in. He says, greetings and hallucinations from sunny -9 degrees Minot, North Dakota. Anyone want a carpool to a WHL playoff game from the Minot area? And North, frankly asking? Contact Stephen in North Dakota. Find him on Facebook. He wants to go to a junior hockey playoff game. John in Edmonton with the breaking news. For the first time in 26 years, the Memorial Cup presented by Kia will be hosted south of the border when next year the championship of the Canadian Hockey League will be held in Saginaw. That news, I'm assuming, just came out today. We'll talk about all of this, the NHL games tonight, NFL meetings, whatever you want, coming up after this brief pause on Game Plus and WQEE. Stick around.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
She could be cool.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
The SJHL raffle is underway with your chance to win a brand new Polaris side-by-side, courtesy the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Tickets are available now until April 23rd, with the draw taking place live on SJHL Insiders April 27th. 1 for 25, 3 for 60, or 10 for 100. But there are only 5,000 tickets available. Get yours today at sjhlraffle.ca.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Your top five in this next to last week of the regular season. The number one team remains the Boston Bruins. The only question now is, will they win the Stanley Cup? Number two, the Carolina Hurricanes. Number three, it's the New York Rangers. They've shot right up there. Number four, the Vegas Golden Knights. And number five is the Edmonton Oilers. They are peaking at the right time.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. It's hour two of your favorite daytime sports talk show. We're halfway through. Coming at you live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino in Calgary. Kind of a quiet night in sports here tonight, and I'm okay with that. The Moose joins us from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle, where I believe it's still winter. Here in hour two, Mike Snee coming up later on in hour two from College Hockey Inc. We do have Moose, do we not?
I'm here.
Here we go. Hey, Moose.
Bingo.
Nice to see you. Hey, 1 hour ago, we flew through the Quick Six show topics at record speed, and that's what we do on this program. It moves. It bangs, as they say. What do they say now? It claps. But here in hour two, we just kind of take our foot off the gas a little bit, fill up the coffee, and talk about all of these things. So I don't know where you're at on this. The poll question today, will you go to a major junior hockey playoff game this year? That's what we're saying on Twitter, and the majority is saying yes on that. It was worded on YouTube, will you go to a WHL playoff game today? And because a lot of our viewers aren't even able to go, Jordan writes in, Jordan Ewart, and says 72% are saying no on here. Again, maybe they can't get to a game. Jordan was the person who wrote it an hour ago regarding the Vancouver Canucks wearing Pride jerseys in their warm-up on Friday. He said, can we just play hockey? I'm like, well, that's a very sobering thought, isn't it? Wait, what an idea that would be. Hey? That's what it is. Ryan in New York watching says, it slaps, as the kids would say. That's what I said, claps. Shocking that I would screw that up. So anyways, start spreading the news. We're live here. So, hey, you've had 20, 30 minutes since you were on. What thoughts do you have of all the topics here on opening day in Major League Baseball and all the rest of the exciting things that are going on?
Yeah, the one opening day I was thinking about, I'm like trying to rack my brain. Clark would be the guy I need to talk to about this. But the one thing that, I don't hear enough about, and I wonder about the Blue Jays, is what their pitching staff looks like this year. And do they have the arms, whether it's the starters or in the bullpen, to get this team to a World Series? That's my biggest question mark around the Blue Jays. I think all the young stars, I think their bats are fine. I think these guys are maturing, but that's my biggest question mark coming into the season is, do the Jays have the arms?
Well, as far as starters go, and Alek Manoah goes today against Nicholas of the Cardinals, one game at a time, it's the usual suspects. Yusei Kikuchi, right? Kevin Gausman, the guys that we know. I think they'll be fine in that stead. And we talked about this an hour ago. And for all the, I know people are very geeked up for baseball. I think people think that we don't like it. We like it. But we're not going to sit here and talk about it every day. We're not for 2 hours. We're not Sportsnet. We're going to talk pickleball. We are pickleball on this channel on Game Plus Television. Not baseball. But we're certainly interested in the results, and we'll be watching as many games as we can and following out of the corner of our eye, waiting for the next NHL game. And by the way, Randy from Winnipeg writes in, and I appreciate you joining us, Randy. He says, I'll pass on pickleball. Well, I had a guy a few years ago trying to get me into it. He ran a league. I got a few guys. Reg Lackness is his name. And Marshall Hamilton, former Rough Riders, Stampeder, and Tiger Cat, big pickleball guy out there at Pasquale Lake. These guys have been playing it for a long time, and I guess you got to wait a while for things necessarily to catch on, Darren, or become mainstream. I bought Serena a pickleball paddle set for Christmas. Still on the box. But not to say that we won't play it, but there seems to be a movement, agree or disagree, behind pickleball.
Oh, big time agree. Huge movement. And it puts me in a bind because I'm a tennis guy. I like playing tennis. I've gotten into that. And pickleball's now taking over, and wonder if a guy should stop playing tennis and jump into pickleball. But I've been watching it on the network. I've been telling you that. It is a lot of fun. It's fast-paced. It's nice to play, singles, doubles. And the courts are popping up all over the place. So one of the fastest-growing sports in North America the last 3 years.
So we're airing that on Game Plus Television. Many people watching it on television. This show on Game Plus right now, and also Live Golf on there. B. Henderson writes in and says, underwater football is apparently a thing. I'll have to take your word for it on that. John in Winnipeg says, I will go watch a WHL playoff game if they put it in the big rink in Winnipeg. Come on, Winnipeg Ice and Jets. Figure it out. I feel like we have a large Winnipeg contingent of viewers today on whether it be YouTube or Bell MTS cable. And it's the turn of the calendar, how I've changed. I'm just trying to stay out of as much controversy as I can. There's some sort of controversy there in Winnipeg as to why the major junior team isn't able to play in the big rink where the Jets and the Moose play. It's like the ownership groups don't like each other, and that's about as far as I want to say on that. But how about the tidbit that I dropped last hour? I kind of dropped that in your lap. Has it hit Twitter yet? About Tom Brady?
I haven't seen it yet.
The Montreal Alouettes. Come on, Twitter, let's go. Colin in Ottawa writes in, and he says, I'm sure Tom Brady was very interested in buying a pro football team in one of North America's major cities, but when he looked at the Alouettes balance sheet, he probably said, no thanks. I don't know about that. And it wasn't just Brady. Tom was the, as they say in the business world, he was the hood ornament on the car. He wasn't the money behind it. And there was another very big sports name involved. That's all I want to say, because people will guess it. If I give you one single hint, you'll guess who it was. And I'm not going to give any, other than to say a big sports name was going to be involved in the sale if Tom Brady's group was to buy the Montreal Alouettes. To be honest with you, I wanted it to happen so bad. And I'm sure the CFL doesn't even like me reporting this, but I don't care. I don't work for them. Because you know there's going to people out there going to say, why didn't you sell it to Brady's group? Nobody even knows who Quebec or is outside Quebec. It's for your debate. As the audiences, man. But that would have been pretty exciting, don't you think?
Oh, it would have been incredibly exciting. And my guess is that it might have been leaked or been made a bigger deal if it had been closer to happening, if there was a bid presented, if it was, you know, out there and the discussions took another step forward. But the fact that, you know, even there was a group being developed and that he had interest in it, I mean, that goes a long way to building more credibility in the league too, and, you know, showing that guys like that would be interested in owning a Canadian Football League team. I think that's exciting for the league. You should celebrate that, and I'd love to see if more details will come out.
I don't think, and Darren, you're more of a businessman than me, although I own a couple businesses, but I don't think the Alouettes' balance sheet would have necessarily scared off Tom Brady's group, because any prospective owner thinks, a great example is those guys that bought the Arizona Coyotes, all those friends of mine, they thought they were going to turn it around.
Yeah.
And one of them was a junior hockey player from Western Canada, and I stood with him looking over the stands of Gila River Arena. And he said, people look at this and see what isn't. I look at it and think of what could be.
How about that?
Year and a half later, they're selling the team.
Oh,
so, hey, they had the right idea. That's what any owner would like to do. I love this. John in Edmonton writes in, he says, TSN still hasn't said anything about Tom Brady buying the Alouettes, so congratulations on still breaking news before TSN, Rod. They're still playing Sports Center for the 18th consecutive time. Of course they're not saying anything about it on TSN right now. That's why you're watching us, John, because we're live television nationally right now with zero breaking news today. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, Rod, I think maybe you're trying to stir the pot in the CFL. Nope. Nope. I'm not. I've been waiting on this story for a long time. Darren knows it, right? Didn't I tell you about this? And I said, don't you say anything. And you didn't.
You did. I didn't.
Ryan in New York says, the man, Tom Brady, is getting $235 million U.S. from Fox Sports. I think Tom Brady could have afforded to buy the Alouettes. Heck, he could have bought the entire league. Don't you know anything about business, Ryan? All these guys. My former lawyer now. Why would we spend our money? That's what they all say. They all say it. That's how they get rich. They don't use their own money. John Ohm says, get Tom Brady involved with the Atlantic CFL team. How about that? Well, that's just burning money. That would just be burning money, and I'm out. I'm out of this conversation now. You bring up Atlantic expansion of the CFL, that's a quick way to get me to turn topics and subjects. It's 11:11 Eastern, by the way. I'm just, Mountain, 11:11 Mountain, 1:11 Eastern. What are you laughing at, Moose? What?
It's a good way for you to change topics, and then it's 11:11. So, I mean, you start looking at what's happening at this time. I mean,
I'm glad I asked. I'm glad I
Moving
asked
on.
why you were laughing so hard. Well, it's funny because I was talking to a hotel magnate today, and he's watching right now, and he was like, I can't believe you had Craig Button on the show yesterday. He just came out with Craig's List. He's the biggest name in the NHL right now in Canada, and you had him for an hour. He's a good family friend, has been since I've known him since I was 15 years of age. And it's funny because when we were done the chat, here's a little inside Hollywood stuff, Moose. If you watch the interview with Craig Button, he said on here, you know, because, you know, with hockey, we're all scouting. We're all scouting all the time. And I looked at him and I said, what do you mean by that? And he goes, well, whether you're a scout or not, as a fan, a sponsor, a coach, an owner. We're watching hockey and we're evaluating the players, whether we know it or not. This guy's good, this guy's not. And he went deep into what he was explaining with that. And when he went to leave, he goes, thank you, by the way, for allowing me the opportunity to explain myself, because I didn't say it very well. And I've been thinking about that since myself. Are we always... I don't feel like we're always scouting players. That's him as a hockey guy. I'm kind of evaluating broadcasters and writers and stuff, but that's what I do. That just showed me that I'm a media guy. He's a hockey guy. Are you always evaluating hockey players or football players? Because I'm really not.
No, but I'm doing what you're doing, evaluating broadcasters and stuff, all the time. So I think hockey people do it. In football, people do it in their world, and, pretty awesome like that. And if I could, you talk about inside Hollywood. I think it's one of the cool things about this show, if you go back and rewatch yesterday's show, I love in the segment before Craig comes on, he's walking up, and you just break the show to talk to him, direct him where he's going, bring him up on stage. He sits right down, starts talking into the microphone, right? Can you imagine if that happened in the middle of Sports Center? Darren Detition's doing the highlights, and over to second base. Hey, Austin, just have a seat over there. I'll get to you in a second. We're just going to finish these highlights up, and then they'll get you. Can somebody get him a coffee? Back to the highlights, third period now. This is awesome.
We ain't too fancy over here. And that reminds me, what is funny is we did have Craig Button sitting on this couch yesterday, and then I watched him on Sports Center, and he's on with Duchishin. Did you watch Sports Center this morning? And he goes, did you guys have Mr. Rogers growing up in Saskatchewan? Did you have Mr. Rogers on your television, Dutchie? And it was because I'm sitting there watching and going, no, we didn't. No, we didn't. Well, I didn't have cable. I was on the farm with 3 channels, and only 2 were English. 1 was French. I didn't have Mr. Rogers. Obviously, Dutchie was a townie like you. You had cable television. I had no idea who Mr. Rogers was when I left the farm. Yeah. Back on point. What I got was Romper Room.
Okay,
and,
that's right.
The lady, yeah. And the lady, she always had that mirror, and she'd look through it. She'd look through it. I see you, Darren. I see you, Jordan. I see you, Susie. Never did she say, I see you, Rod. Not one time. Ever. And I watched every day. Ruined my day. Regarding Tom Brady potentially buying the Montreal Alouettes, because that's not going to happen now, clearly. Where is it? Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, I'd welcome Tom Brady's ownership of the Calgary Stampeders. Janet, the Four Seasons, says people would flock to Montreal to watch just in the hopes of seeing or meeting Tom Brady. John in Edmonton says Tom buys the RP show. He couldn't afford it. You like that? We have a live audience. I thought it was a laugh track coming from there. Randy from Winnipeg says TB12 should play 2 games for the other 8 teams. Give them a chance to catch the Bombers. Here's me. I did not mean to light a fire in the CFL today, but it's an otherwise quiet day for them. So, yeah. We're going to take a timeout. Moose and I will return after this. We'll see what comes up. I'd kind of like to take a look at tonight's games in the National Hockey League if we can. We'll update. Are the Braves and Nationals underway? It's opening day in Major League Baseball. We can continue to talk about that. And Mike Sneeze coming up, the executive director of College Hockey Inc. We'll be right back on Game Plus Television, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE, The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
I'm Bridget Lacroix. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina. It's March, it's madness! Capital GMC Buick Cadillac has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Capital has Sierra 1500s with rates starting as low as 1.49%. Over 400 new vehicles in stock, or drive away in a GM certified pre-owned vehicle. They all come with a 150 plus point inspection and a 3-month warranty. It's March, it's madness! On now at Capital GMC Buick Cadillac, Saskatchewan's #1 GM retailer, capitalgmc.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. I'm having a day. I tripped the alarm over there. That was me. I'm sorry, guys. The Moose is with us. But Moose, things have taken a miraculous upturn because I just opened the text line, the 902-518-3033 number, and Ali Lalani is watching from Game Plus. He's watching on Game Plus television from Bet Regal. Ali writes in and says, loving watching the show, guys. Loving that Bet Regal purple hoodie. Signed, Ali, and he sent a photo. Clark, you can go into the 902 text line and pull out the photo. He's watching on Game Plus in Toronto right now. I just knew when I was looking at my wardrobe today might be a good day to have a good day and put on my Bet Regal bunny hug, as we say it out in Sask. Fun stuff, man. People are into it. What did I say, Moose? We're going to look at tonight's NHL games. Jeff Y., who is in our system as being from Hamilton, who once said he was never going to watch this show again when I dared bring up my political views. He's still watching, and he just wrote in. He says, hey, guys, since moving to Edmonton last fall, I've become a full-blown Oilers fan. I'm going to my first game tonight, and I can't decide whether I like the standard home jersey or the third all blue and orange. Which one do you guys prefer? Well, as a guy that grew up as an Oilers fan till August 9th, 1988, and we won't go any further than that, I like the orange. I like the orange. And the thing is, I got an orange jersey made up with 99 Gretzky on the back, and you know my story about that. I was wearing it at Rogers Place, and I got bullied. People on the concourse. Can you hear the people from the audience? People from the, no, did you not know that, Darren? I got bullied and harassed from Oiler fans. They're like, that's not era-specific. Wayne never wore an orange Oiler jersey. And thank God, I know, that's what I said. Hubby, I wear whatever I want to wear. This is long before Pride jerseys. So he's basically asking home whites, if that's what home jerseys are anymore, or the third, they all blue. And to be honest, that's too dark. I guess if you're asking me, Jeff, now in Edmonton, formerly of Hamilton, I would wear, I'd go get the orange. It's one of the nicest jerseys in the NHL, in my opinion. And put 99 Gretzky on and see people's heads explode. You?
I like the blue. I got to be different. I'm not a big fan of the orange. I like the blue is so clean, and I think the orange in the logo, it really pops on that blue. That's what I would go with. But that, again, we're different, so why not?
Yeah. You and I would, we don't wear the same things. That's cool. We do like to eat in the same restaurants, though.
Yes, we do.
That ain't hard. I'm thinking of going to Shark Club one of these nights, but I did have a really good time at the Canadian Brew House last night, and I talked about that last hour. Spend time with people that are good for your mental health. I did that last night.
Yeah.
And driving back, it's not that hard, to figure out. There was an applause from the crowd on that. Why is this so hard to spend time that are people that are nice and build you up? I know not everybody can do that. I get that.
Yeah.
But if you can, do it. Ryan checking in. Ryan Thomas, a former member of God's team, the Regina Pats. He writes it and says, some interesting Bedard stats, Roddy. Top goals per game seasons by a 17-year-old all time. Pat LaFontaine, the highest, 1.49 goals per game. Pat LaFontaine. Riel Cloutier, 1.35 points per game. Mario Lemieux, 1.27. The Boss, Mike Bossy, 1.27. Connor Bedard is my friend Chris Sanford in South Florida. Says Connor Bedard, 1.26 goals a game. And Eric Lindros, the Big E, 1.25. He says, pretty impressive company for CB98. Yeah, well, I'm telling you, I've got the Pats. Obviously, I'm going to say I think they're going to beat the Saskatoon Blades in the playoffs. Moose predicted that their Blades are going to win in 6, but he's always wrong. Joe Lazzato in New York has written me. He listens or watches the show every day, and we're available on Altus Cable in New York City, television on Game Plus. Joe says, can I just say that I'm absolutely dumbfounded, Rod, by the amount of people who seem to want Bedard to fail. I get rooting against him if he's playing against your team, but to not appreciate a generational talent like him is just idiotic. We don't have time. I just said that's society now, bro. They don't want to see other people have success. I don't get it either, and never have. You know, there are those that are saying pump the brakes on Bedard because he hasn't proven himself in the NHL yet. I get that. But to outright cheer against him or not want him to do well, that doesn't make any sense to me. There is a little bit of that out there, but not a lot, right? What do they say, Darren? Empty barrels make the most noise.
Yeah.
That's a saying from our parents' era. Nobody's outright cheering against them. I get the Blades fans would, right? But I'd like to think people don't want him to fail.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's always this sentiment where people want to bring down what's popular and they don't want to see any success. I mean, we were the same with Tom Brady. He was winning all the Super Bowls in New England. We didn't want him to have success, but all of a sudden he gets a little older and he maybe doesn't win as often. Then we like him again. You know, we were the same way with Nickelback when they're selling all the albums and selling out the stadiums and winning the award.
Don't say we. Don't say we. Don't say we. I've never been that guy. Hating on Nickelback or hating on Tom Brady or really hating on anybody. I don't have it.
Of course. But I say we as a society, and when we say that, it's the majority, right? And that's societal things. We never want anybody to be too big, and that becomes, that saying of building the tallest building by tearing everybody else down, right? People feel that bringing somebody else down will help lift them up, and that's just not the case. So that's where the Bedard hate comes from, and it's from a bad place.
Appreciate those that are writing in with the updates. I love that you're watching ball, but also watching the RP show. Garnet Elmer in North Battleford writes in. He says, Aaron Judge. Now the comments are coming in like Aaron Judge hits a homer in the first inning of their opener. Here we go. John in Winnipeg says, Aaron Judge is the GOAT already. What a start to the MLB season. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, I'm with Moose on the blue Oilers jersey. Colin in Ottawa says, dude, you have to buy the regular Oilers home jersey. Imagine having those 1980s dynasty jerseys and then looking like a pylon with those bright orange jerseys. Yeah. John Ohm in Winnipeg has said it best. Wear what you want, bro. How about that? Or buy what you want.
How about that?
You know what? That's the one thing. Whoa. The bane of my existence is when people sit down and they ask you, can we go for lunch, Rod? And I need to ask your opinion on something. And then they go and do the exact opposite. There was a pretty big, what? Time's the most precious resource we have, man, more so than money, because they ain't making more time. There was a university program that asked me to go for lunch. I ain't going to name who it is. But they said, Rod, rank these 4 coaches, please. So I ranked the coaches for them. And then they go and hire a guy that was completely off the board, wasn't even mentioned. They hired the guy who I didn't like, and he didn't like me, and I don't care. And I said to the guy, the president of the team, I said, what the hell did you ask me to rank those coaches? This guy's an idiot. And he goes, well, he really wanted the job. I said, that doesn't make him good for the job. Moose, why do they do that? Why do they waste my time? Why do they ask anybody for their advice and then not take it? I don't get it. I don't
know. I know. It's one of those unexplained mysteries, They asked for your advice, didn't like what you had to say, so they didn't listen to it, I guess.
Do you ever get tired of me asking you rhetorical questions and expecting an answer that you don't have answers to? It's like you're my sounding. Why, Darren?
I know.
You do a pretty good job. You do a pretty good job. You do.
I try.
Jeff, here's one. Here's a life lesson coming up. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, while I've been complaining about the Flames, they have slowly worked their way back into playoff contention. Again, Craig Button sat on this couch here yesterday, and he pretty much predicted that the Flames would overtake the Jets for the final playoff spot. And social media, by the way, John in Winnipeg, he's got a lot of good stuff today. John he says, wanting people to fail comes down to jealousy. I see it all the time on social media. Pretty sad. It's really sad. So a couple things here. My financial guy, Mike McCullough, you know him. He's not on social media at all. He doesn't even have a freaking smartphone. He's got a flip phone. You'd think he was my dad's age. Doesn't text. Not on Facebook. And he is the happiest lark in the world. I'm like, you can actually do that? Not have a social media account? And you're happy? So I've been sitting here staring at the ceiling a couple nights going, what if I didn't have any social media? How would it affect my life? I don't think you want to know, Darren, the answer that I came up with. Quite positively. So there's that. But don't worry, I'm not deleting my social media. But with the hockey teams like the Flames here, I'm telling you, I've heard literally everything. You spent enough time in Calgary last year, you get it. And it's not a Calgary thing. In Toronto, they say it's worse. In Edmonton, it's about the same. Like, you cannot get away from the Flames talk. The problem is guys like Jeff, the Stamps fan, even Craig Button. Craig admitted it. And Jeff's admitting it here too. I wrote him off. I didn't write off the Flames, but I did write off the Florida Panthers, and that was my sign to not write anybody off. You know, and to your credit, you've never written off the Leafs. You probably wanted to. But I guess my point is to not listen to people's opinions makes your life a lot easier. There's the TED Talk.
You have to listen to yourself.
15 minutes.
And only yourself. You can't listen to other people. And we make mistakes all the time, right? So things are never going to stay the same. The Flames were out. Flames were a long way out. Didn't look good. Doesn't mean it's going to be that way forever, right? So, yeah, it's just a waste of time to listen to other people's opinions.
Jason in Winnipeg writes in, says, hey, Rod, sorry if you talked about it already. I just tuned in, but Mark Scheifele has been moved to the wing. See, that is... Yeah, that's a... Most hockey people, Jason, think he should be benched. And you guys all think over there in Winnipeg we don't care about the Jets. I get that from people. They're tweeting me, oh, you never talked about the Jets. Maybe we don't talk about them as much as the other teams, but we're following. The hockey people think Scheifele should be benched at minimum. Forget about moving him to the wing. You know what this is? This is an effort, Jason, to wake him up. Good luck. Remember when Paul Maurice benched Scheifele? A couple of years ago, people were writing in here, what do you think about Scheifele benching 55? Paul Maurice was ahead of his time, and you guys skidded him. That's what I think. They're trying anything they can to get Scheifele to produce. That's what I think about that. Jeff, just to wrap this up, Moose, and I'll let you go for the day. Jeff in Edmonton, another Jeff Y, he writes in, he says, thanks for the input, much appreciated. He goes, he's not the guy that said he would never watch the show again. He goes, it must be a different Jeff you're thinking of about the politics thing. That type of stuff is irrelevant to me. I'm actually someone that has a lot of respect for you. I've looked into your story for inspiration myself, being an addict in recovery. It's all love from me, Rod. Thanks. Don't. That was a different Jeff from Hamilton. So that's a nice way to end this segment. And Moose, I'll say so long to you. Do you want to say goodbye to Ali Lalani from Bet Regal? He's watching in Toronto right now on Game Plus. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, he's going to text me soon and one of these days, and we're going to connect. So it's awesome. Again, appreciate it. Fun show today. Enjoy the rest of it.
How about that? Frozen 4 is at hand. We'll talk some college hockey with Mike Snee from College Hockey Inc. next. We're live on Game Plus Television, YouTube, and your Southern Home of Sports and Talk, WQEE, the key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersenshop.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
It's March, it's madness. Capital GMC Buick Cadillac has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Capital has Sierra 1500s with rates starting as low as 1.49%. Over 400 new vehicles in stock, or drive away in a GM certified pre-owned vehicle. They all come with a 150 plus point inspection and a 3-month warranty. It's March, it's madness! On now at Capital GMC Buick Cadillac, Saskatchewan's #1 GM retailer, capitalgmc.ca. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, the place to be. And if you love the timeless music of the Eagles, then you can't afford to miss Hotel California, the original Eagles tribute, right here at Grey Eagle Event Center, Thursday, April 27th. Tickets are on sale at Ticketmaster.ca. Well, very exciting times in college hockey. Let's bring in Mike Snee from College Hockey Inc. The Frozen Four is set. Mike, welcome back to the program. And you're going to have to help me here. I've worked in hockey a very long time. I don't know how to pronounce the name of all the teams in the tournament in Tampa Bay. You know it's University of Michigan, and you know who I'm talking about. You know Boston University's there. University of Minnesota. Quinnipiac?
Quinnipiac.
Help me out.
You got it. That'll work. That'll work. You'll hear it multiple ways.
Tell me about that.
Quinnipiac. Yeah. They're located in Connecticut. Them. Yeah, they're in Connecticut. They're in ECAC hockey. Rand Pecknold has been their only coach since they became a Division I hockey program over 20 years ago. And in the past 10 years or so, they've really, it seems like they make the Frozen Four every other year. They've played in a couple of championship games, haven't won one yet. The other three schools, Minnesota, Michigan, Boston University, they've combined for 19 national championships. Quinnipiac has been really close, but hasn't won one yet. So really exciting program.
Okay. Well, now that you say that the way yeah.
Let's hear it. Can you say it? Let's hear you repeat it. Quinnipiac.
Yeah, Quinnipiac. There you go. But so it's in Tampa Bay, and I'm just wondering, what's the take of this field? You just kind of expect BU to be there in Minnesota and Michigan. Quinnipiac? Yep. Is that a surprise or not? These four are the last ones left standing.
Quinnipiac was a #1 seed. I think they've been in 4 Frozen Fours. They've played in 2 championship games. Devon Tays on the Colorado Blue Line, among others, played at Quinnipiac. So they've built quite a program for themselves. So, and unlike men's basketball, none of these 4 schools are surprises. 3 of them were #1 seeds going into the tournament. Boston U was a #2 seed. So the field this year, unlike previous years, unlike basketball, it actually is played out to be, I think, kind of the 4 schools that you might expect to be there.
Yeah, well, now that you say that, and Devon Taves, yes, he's made it famous, so shame on me. So Tampa Bay is a host. Your thoughts on that? Because I spend half my time in Florida. I know it's not necessarily hockey mad, but having events like this certainly help in that regard. Your thoughts about the tournament coming up here in Not that long.
In a week from today. Yeah, a week from today. I'm ecstatic, to be quite honest. I'm based in Minnesota, and we're looking at 18 degrees Fahrenheit right now with about 4 to 5 inches of snow coming this weekend. So I am looking very much forward to watching some hockey down in Florida, and I think everybody else from Minnesota, Michigan, Massachusetts, Connecticut would say the same thing. And I assume you've been to a Lightning game. They've got a great setup there, the rink, the hotels, the bars and restaurants. It's all within walking distance of everything's within walking distance. And like I said, it's wrapped in 80 degrees and palm trees. So I think it's a universal win for the Frozen Four, to be quite frank.
Oh, hey, listen, I'd love to have it in Florida every year. Florida gets a bad rap as a hockey state. I mean, it's clearly growing, but let's not mistake that they have any idea about the game. But that's growing. You're either getting better or you're getting worse, and they're definitely getting better as a state.
They are. And this is the second Frozen Four in Tampa. It was there in 2016, and the feedback and response from the people that went was all like, let's do this again. So you might find some people that want to turn Tampa into the Omaha of college hockey and make this a permanent location. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm pretty certain that Tampa will be a regular on the circuit.
Well, yeah, and Sunrise, Florida, where I live 27 miles from there, let's get it going down there because they love hockey down there too. But you're well-versed in the Canadians that are in this tournament, the Canadian players. Who are some players for our viewers to be watching out for?
Yeah, and the tournament, all 3 games will be available via TSN. And each team has, quite honestly, a lot of Canadian storylines. But I think the top ones for Michigan, it's pretty obvious. The leading scorer in college hockey this year is Adam Fantilli. Just announced this morning he's one of the 3 finalists for the Hobey Baker Award. Will likely be a very, very high draft pick this summer, possibly as high as number 2. So he leads Michigan, he leads college hockey, and he's from the Toronto area. But the other teams also have really interesting stories. Yaniv Peretz, who has the best stats of any goalie in the country. He's Quinnipiac's goalie. He's from Quebec, undrafted, so he'll be a highly sought-after undrafted goalie once he decides to finish his college career. An interesting story with him, that he grew up in Quebec, and his childhood teammate, childhood neighbor, Levi with Northeastern, who's making his NHL debut later this week. So 2 of the best college goalies in the country, and they grew up in the same neighborhood, literally, in Quebec as kids. In your neck of the woods, sticking with the goaltender position, Justin Close is Minnesota's goalie. He has a sub-2 goals against average, about a 94% save percentage. Minnesota is the number 1 team in the country in the rankings, and he's been their goalie the entire year. I think he's played almost every game. So he's right from just west of you in Kindersley, Saskatchewan. And then I think the sneaky story in terms of the Canadian storylines is a guy named Lane Hudson. He's a freshman defenseman, a true freshman, so he's right out of high school. And tough to do that in college hockey. Tough to do it if you're a defenseman. And he's ripping it up. He has 48 points in 38 games this year. Surprisingly, he was a second-round pick last year, not a first-round pick. I think if they redid last year's draft, he would be a first-round pick. But he was the second-round pick of the Montreal Canadiens. And I think it bodes well that he might follow in the footsteps of a previous second-round pick of the Canadiens, Chris Chelios, many years ago, who ended up having, obviously, a spectacular NHL career. So the teams are loaded with Canadian storylines, and each one has kind of a shining star of a Canadian storyline.
Mike Snee, we only have about 2 minutes left, but let me ask you this. What did you think about Adam Fantilli's World Juniors performance, and how much will this tournament go towards his draft stock?
I guess that remains to be seen. That's a good question. I think it will be an interesting draft, other than, we all know who's going to go number 1. And then so the next groupings, you're reading different things about it. I think Fantilli's being very young, one of the youngest players in all of college hockey, leading college hockey in scoring, leading his team to the Frozen Four. And it's a great team. It's not just Adam Fantilli, but certainly he's led them to the Frozen Four. I would not be surprised at all if he's the number 2 overall pick in the NHL draft, but I'm not a scout, and I can't say that I've broken down any film of Adam either, so I'll leave that up to the professionals.
Yeah, got you. Well, you are a professional, so tell people why they should be going to College Hockey Inc.
Yeah, well, the purpose for our organization, why we were created, was to help young players like the ones we've mentioned and their families, those that are interested in NCAA hockey, especially those from Canada or from Europe that perhaps the whole idea of college athletics is a little bit new to them. So we want to be a resource. We're free. We're a nonprofit, just to make sure if they have questions about academic eligibility, amateur eligibility, whatever it might be, that we're a resource for them. And college hockey right now is just in great shape. 349 NHLers last full season, more than any other. And the graduation rate's 92%. So you pretty much have the full package on the ice and off the ice. And if anybody is interested in learning more, just go to our website, which is collegehockeyinc.com.
There you go. This is the executive director, Mike Sneap. Mike, I appreciate the breakdown, my man. Enjoy Tampa and enjoy the hockey.
Will do. Appreciate the opportunity to talk with you.
We'll do it again. Mike Sneap, the executive director of College Hockey Inc.com. We'll be right back with Audience Takeover, whatever you would like to discuss from throughout today's entire program. Sports update, and we'll take a look at tonight's games right after this. We're live on the Game Plus television network from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino in Calgary on Game Plus and your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE, Noonan, Georgia, 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
It's March. It's madness. Capital Ford has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Save up to $7,000 on a brand new F-150. They have over 150 available right now. Or drive home in a new to you used vehicle. Plus, Capital Ford offers the highest guaranteed trade-in value, or they'll give you $500 cash. Get your hands on a new ride before they come to their senses. On now at Capital Ford. Visit CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I gotta hit the beat.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
The SJHL raffle is underway with your chance to win a brand new Polaris side-by-side, courtesy the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Tickets are available now until April 23rd, with the draw taking place live on SJHL Insiders April 27th. 1 for 25, 3 for 60, or 10 for 100. But there are only 5,000 tickets available. Get yours today at sjhlraffle.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It is Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. There's a live look at it, and that event center down there in the corner is Calgary's entertainment destination. Go to greyeagleresortandcasino.ca to get the show lineup and purchase your tickets. Before I jump into a sports update here, Brad Wilson is watching from the YQR. He writes and he says, I love your show. Paul Maurice left mid-season. Rick Bowness is saying the same thing about the Jets' top four lacking inspiration. Not a surprise. They still skidded him. Listen, you think I don't know? And I appreciate you, Brad, for saying that you love the show. So I said they skidded Maurice. They were going to skid Maurice. And the reason I know was, or that I recall it, because it was on my birthday, December 16th of 2021. Yeah. That Paul Maurice pulled the pin. I was in Florida. I remember getting the call. I called my Winnipeg hockey people, and I said, what's the deal on Pomo pulling the pin? They're like, we don't know. I'm like, did something happen? Nope. He could see the writing on the wall. Brad, you get my point. Paul Maurice is kind of proving to be ahead of his time in a lot of ways. He was saying all the same things about Scheifele and Wheeler that everybody are saying now. But, oh, no. Homo was the problem. So he's like, you know what? I'm out. Trust me. I get it. And now look where they are. I'll jump back into the viewer and audience comments in a moment. But sports update, how about this? You got to love this for live television. Hey, Aaron Judge rang in opening day the same way he marked many nights last season with a home run. In his first game as New York Yankees captain, Judge hit a solo shot in the first inning off San Francisco's Logan Webb, a 422-foot shot into the netting above Monument Park in center field. Judge took a strike on the 39-degree day at Yankee Stadium, then hit a thigh-high cutter on the outside part of the plate for a 109-mile-an-hour drive, and his very first ever opening day home run. Judge hit an American League record 62 homers last season, as you know, one more than Roger Maris's total with the 1961 Yankees. He became a free agent and considered signing with his home area Giants, and then struck a $360 million 9-year deal to remain with the Yankees. Which, by the way, can we all take a moment when we're talking about all the horrible stories in sports and just think about Aaron Judge for a second? And how wholesome that story is, and how right it is, and how he's not steroided up. You gotta respect that guy, even as a Blue Jays fan, I would think. Breaking news from the football world today, the Vanier Cup is heading to Queen's University. U Sports announced today its national championship football game will be played at Richardson Memorial Stadium, home of the Queens Gales, in 2023 and 24. This year's Vanier Cup will be held November 25th and mark the first time the game will be played in Kingston. But the city has twice staged a Canadian University Championship game before, in 1920 and 1929. How about that?
How about that?
This sports update brought to you by Landmark Cinema. Sorry, my back's a little sore. Can you tell? Sometimes 2 hours in this chair is a lot. In theaters now, John Wick 4 at Landmark Cinemas. Starring Keanu Reeves, John Wick takes on his most lethal adversaries yet in the upcoming 4th installment of the series. With the price on his head ever increasing, Wick takes his fight against the high table global as he seeks out the most powerful players in the underworld, from New York to Paris to Osaka to Berlin. John Wick 4 in Landmark Cinemas. Now sign up for Landmark Extras, see what's playing, and get free refills on large pop and large popcorn. You had me at free. Well, a big thank you today. It's been a lot of fun today. Curtis Hunt, Mike Snee, talking a lot of hockey. It will be a Football Friday on Friday. And the guest list is a moving target. Jeff Fairholm was supposed to be with us, but he is driving home from Phoenix, and he ran into a weather snafu. Jeff Fairholm sends his regards. Two-time Grey Cup winning receiver with Toronto and Sask, not going to make it. From WQEE Rock, Ryan O'Radio. He says, another great RP show, Atlanta's NHL show. Isn't it? And I just knew, right on cue, we got all these people that are just getting introduced to all of us, that I knew that Curtis Hunt would have a story about Atlanta, minor pro hockey, and he did. Got beat up there one night. We were on the same team for 5 years, and we sat right beside each other on the bus. He knows everything about me, and I know everything about him. And we're still friends. Our director of scouting, Craig Smith, writes in on the Vanier Cup news. He says, great news. Kingston is a super place. Nice new stadium. Great choice. And he says, Football Friday. Colin in Ottawa says, Canada's men's national soccer team plays in our country for the first time since the World Cup, and they have to close both upper decks of BMO Field. National media is quite unlike when the Argos play. I get what he said. They couldn't sell it out. I appreciate the Eastern Canadian view on that. And I see what you're saying. Everybody turns their nose up at the Argos, but they have to do that for them and not tarp off those upper sections. But nobody says anything about the men's soccer team. Are we starting to realize the agenda? Are we getting there? Are we allowed to talk about it? Allie in Texarkana writes in. She says, have a great rest of the day, Rod and gang. You too. I'll take a look at this NHL slate for games tonight, and we'll talk about who's the game of the night. Let you vote on it on our Instagram story. Go give us a follow right now at The Rod Pedersen Show. Lots of fun things going on there. And we'll see you all tomorrow, noon Eastern, here at Grey Eagle with a Football Friday on Game Plus and The Key.
Who has more fun than us?
How about that? That's hot. Oh, good one, Rod. Hot. And that's cheap.